We will now be having Goodwill messages from Dr. Mrs. Ada Okwuosa. She's a retired permanent secretary, Minister of Finance. We shall be taking some gift presentation from the ES third front after now, please. Prime Segma.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris. I insisted on speaking now behind the Maiyaki family because I want the world to know that Chris has another family, a family in Owerri, Imo State. Distinguished guests, I will recognize the chief host only, the executive secretary of the National Universities Commission, but everybody else I will greet and thank as friends of Chris Maiyaki. Thank you for coming. Now my encounter and the encounter of my family with Chris is a study in the value and beauty of cross-regional friendships in Nigeria. This is how I describe it. Why? Because we met Chris at the age of 22. Before the world, we started moving in the circles of professors and vice chancellors. A 22-year-old youth copper. Sent to Owerri, posted to Owerri, Imo State. He was rejected here and there, a little lost. He ends up in the camp. You know, he reads a lot. The last rejected posting he had was somewhere in Ngwa territory. And he has read that the people from that area are historically headhunters. And in the middle of the night, he hears some people mumbling some strange language outside his room. He packs up his bag and runs, 22 years old, and runs back to camp. And what happens? That was when God was preparing him, guiding him to meet his new family in Owerri. So I was recently headhunted as a senior lecturer to head a new department of government in the College of Education. And the classes and the lectures were overwhelming me. It was new. So I go to the provost and I told him, please, what can I do for more help in some of the classes? So he says, go to the youth corps camp. Look for any brilliant youth corps with a good degree in the social sciences and take them to help you, who will approve. And that is what happened. Chris came and was supposed to start with just Government 101. But Chris was so good, so intelligent, so confident, he could read up everything. He moved from 101 to the more senior caucuses like political parties and pressure groups. Chris had the charisma of a 40-year-old. He was lecturing former teachers who were now coming to get a degree, and he was so good and blowing such grammar that the classes were always full. People who were dodging lectures were now showing up because they said there's this small youth copper who is blowing so much grammar. Then by the time I had Chris in my department, there was a shortage of accommodation. And in those days, the youth service was super. Every institution would provide accommodation for its youth corps staff. It was full. So Chris ends up living with me in my guest room. I was lucky I had a very large house, courtesy of my late father. Now, Chris was so wonderful with my family. When I came here, I came with my daughter, who is now a mother of 2 children and a legal officer in an international organization. She was 3 years old, and Chris used to walk her to the neighborhood kindergarten school for me every morning. I had 4 daughters. I have 4 daughters. And they all call him Uncle Chris till tomorrow. The doctor, the dentist, the senior consultant, they all call him Uncle Chris. This is a Nigeria we seem to be losing. The dentist in America at the age of 13 had to visit Aba from Owerri. And my car had run down. So what do? Chris, please take her to Aba, to her auntie for me. Dressed up in his uniform, he escorts my 13-year-old daughter all the way to Aba, safe and sound. This is the Nigeria we seem to be losing. Is it possible? How many people can do that today with a youth corps? In those days, in this youth corps uniform, they were saluted. When they go to the car park or motor park to travel, the youth corps person is given preference. In the banks, in the queue, they are given preference. But this is not happening anymore. Chris is the person who is an embodiment of the word charisma. When you say somebody is charismatic, what do you mean? A charismatic personality is a person who you meet once and you never forget. In a matter of 3 weeks, Chris was speaking Igbo. He wasn't just speaking Igbo, he was speaking the local dialect. This is him. So when they say that he's a polyglot, I know it. Chris became so much a part of my family that even my late father in the village would always ask about Chris. How is he doing? Is he okay? Chris is part of me and will always be. And my family in the Mo State is also his family. We thank God that he is now leaving the service, an accomplished expert in so many fields. And I know that he will continue to serve Nigeria. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you very much, Madam, for the goodwill message. A round of applause.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.